Okay, friends, we are doing it. What are we doing? Well, first, clearly, too much. Woke up today, decided to do a full face of makeup, something I have not done in years, and maybe I've only done like 6 times in my life, simply just to clean my apartment and do laundry. So we're doing too much. We're also doing not enough because you're literally balancing on a dirty, gross trash can right now. But we're also gonna make sourdough starter, something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time and have felt, I think, in a very valid way, intimidated by. So when I really got into baking, a year, 2 years ago now, I got into baking because I just got obsessed with making focaccia, which is also an incredibly hard bread to make. I mean, bread is just like a whole different category. I mean, it is its own category of baking, but it's just like a whole other world. And why I've like attached myself to wanting to be really good at bread baking as opposed to other things, I'm not really sure. Well, I guess maybe I'm sure. Bread's just really good. Bread is life. I'd rather have like a salty, bready, yeasty snack than like having cupcakes and frosting and like cookies all day. So maybe that's why. Anyway, what am I talking about? So I guess like when I got into baking, I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to eventually get to a point where I can make sourdough. I'm having so much fun with bread. Like sourdough, I feel like is like the top tier of bread making. And then I just kept putting it off, and I think for a lot of reasons, like it is a commitment to like have a starter, take care of it. I mean, I can barely take care of myself, so I think that was part of it. And then like just feeling intimidated, and the more I've gotten into bread making and all the like technicalities of it, and everyone does things differently, and like yes, I try to follow other bakers, and like I've bought bread specific books by like people who are known for making really good bread, and I fail a lot, but that's fine. So today I decided we're just gonna start. And what's funny about starting today is that I've done no prior research. I mean, I have. Like, I've spent the past 2 years watching a billion people make sourdough, looking at Instagram reels, figuring out how to do starter, but just like very casually from like I'm relaxing, drinking my coffee, petting my cats on the couch. Like, I just want to watch some baking content kind of thing, not like I'm about to go do this thing. Let me take notes, let me figure out what you're actually supposed to do and really pay attention so that I can produce something similar. Yeah, I decided not to go that route today because I would probably just dig myself into a hole that I wouldn't be able to get out of. I'd probably feel too intimidated again. So I'm just gonna go with my gut. I mean, and a recipe. I'm following, what's his name? All right, my memory card is full. I just had to erase so many videos that I filmed over the past couple of years and never uploaded or edited and never planned to. So goodbye to those. Anyway, I am following a recipe. I'm following Joshua Weissman's recipe. Name probably butchered. Sorry, Josh. And yeah, I thought, why not document it? Like I said in my last video that I may or may not have or will upload, I want to get back more into this space and just like do what makes me happy and whatever that means. So doing this activity right now felt like a good place. YouTube felt like a good place to do this. So we'll just get into it. So I do have my handy dandy little instructions. I will link the video that I'm following in the description, but in that video, he links his instructions in a document for what to do over the course of the week to get the starter going. I am a paper, pen, physical copy of things kind of gal. So we're gonna have this and I'm gonna take notes on it. So what else do we have? We have our container. We have Bob's Red Mill Stone Ground Dark Rye Flour, whole grain, non-GMO, covered in cat hair. Oh. So I don't use this too often. To keep it fresh, I keep it in the freezer. But then when I was like, oh, I'm gonna need this to make some sourdough today, it probably shouldn't be like below 32 degrees. I wrapped it in a heated blanket to warm her up a little bit. I got flour everywhere, so that's great. And then we have just some regular old white unbleached, hopefully, flour. Let me tell you about this flour. Let me just tell you about, I guess, my life financially. I'm pretty broke. I have a full-time job now, but you know, tax season's still pretty broke. Flour is expensive. I guess what I'm trying to say is I quite literally don't know what flour is in here. I almost always try to get unbleached white all-purpose flour, but sometimes depending on where I'm shopping from, that shit's just expensive. So if I had to take a guess, what is in here right now is a mix of Trader Joe's unbleached white all-purpose flour because that's like the cheapest flour around here. And then maybe also, I think the most recent one I got was off of Amazon Fresh, so maybe Whole Foods brand. And in that case, I'm quite certain it would also probably be unbleached. Let's just hope for the best because I have heard that if you use the bleached stuff, it's just not good for starter. So we'll see. So with all that being said too, like I am in this for the funsies. I'm not in this for like some sort of beautiful bread making aesthetic. I mean like maybe a little bit, maybe eventually, not right now. So like don't come for me for the ingredients that I'm using. I know some people might use like all just whole wheat flour and not rye flour, maybe like the fanciest, like fresh milled brand of all-purpose flour and not just like whatever the hell is in this. Yeah, we're just here to have fun, so let's have some fun. All right, we're zoomed in, ready for action. First things first, we're gonna weigh our jar without the lid to see how much that is. 423 grams. Okay, next we need 100 grams of stone ground rye flour, so we can give that a little tear. Full transparency, this scale is like 1,000 years old. If you've been here since the soap making days, that's the scale I used to use. Sometimes I question its accuracy, and maybe that's why all my bread bakes fail. Yeah, hopefully that's not the case. We're just gonna roll with it. Okay, so next we need 150 grams of lukewarm water at 85 degrees. So we're gonna tear that, got our water. What's funny about this step is that I discovered yesterday that my food thermometer wasn't working. So it feels lukewarm. You know, I don't have a sense to get what the exact degree is, but you know, if I had to label 85, this might be close to it. Genuinely have no idea, so we're just gonna roll with it. Also, considering the flour is still kind of cold, if this is a little too warm, I feel like that might be okay. Like it's gonna even out, you know? Let's see if I can do it without going over. Oh, okay. That's what's happening today. Where are my ASMR girlies at? Wow, I sure did just go over, didn't I? I tried. Okay, can I just like scoop it out? Look, I told y'all this ain't gonna be no like aesthetic, cute little video. This is me just doing my best, and my best maybe isn't the best, you know? I probably should be using a spatula for this, but I do believe my spatula, my skitty one, is in the dishwasher. All right, so there we have it. I just have like top part of the mason jar lid on top. Josh said that if you keep it airtight, it might explode. We don't want to be doing none of that. So yeah, this will just sit out on the counter, and then I'll follow the feeding schedule for the next 7 days. And then I am for sure not committed to feeding this thing every single day, so she will be going in the fridge. Yeah, we're done. Wasn't that fun? Guess that's the end of the video. Just kidding. I'll probably do updates throughout the week, show you know what it's looking like, if it's grown. Maybe I'll actually like mark where the level is, perhaps, to see how much it grows, expands, eats, whatever, puffs up, whatever you want to call it. I suppose me and Stardy, I don't know, I feel like it needs a name. Maybe by the next time I check it, I'll have a name. But me and the nameless sourdough starter will be back soon. Look at that growth. All right, y'all, I may have fucked up a little bit. So it's like a week later, I guess. I thought I was gonna have time to make like an actual loaf of sourdough this week, and I absolutely just did not. So my plan was to leave the sourdough in the fridge for 7 days, 7th day, bring it out, feed it, put it back in the fridge, do that whole thing, and then sometime like in the next following 7 days, make the sourdough. So I just took out the starter. I was gonna feed her a little bit, and I went to go consult the instructions to see what the amounts were again, and as I grabbed the paper, I realized I missed an entire day while I was creating the starter. So yeah, which makes sense because it was a 7-day feeding schedule. This clearly left off on day 6, and my dumbass didn't realize. And this whole time there was another feeding that I was supposed to do. So I'm assuming it's okay. I obviously don't know anything about anything, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do this feeding, which the measurements are different. I think it's probably gonna be fine, but yeah, that's where we're at right now. All right, well, since we're already talking, I might as well just close this video out here because it probably needs some sort of outro anyway. So yes, this is day like 2 weeks, 14 days or something. I did just refeed it. I also put it into a new mason jar because that one, my old one, was very dirty and like kind of nasty. And I know that they can potentially like grow mold or bacteria, whatever. So I didn't want that to happen. I'll eventually get a smaller one because this is just, it takes up a lot of space. I don't know if you've seen our fridge, but it's like not a regular fridge. It's a very tiny, tiny fridge. And it's also just like hard to mix when the stuff is at the bottom. Yeah, I added a rubber band so I could see growth. I am not gonna put it back in the fridge immediately. I'm gonna leave it out for a little bit, let it feed, since, you know, I skipped a feeding a week ago. It's probably is in need of some nourishment. I don't have my lid on super tight just because I don't want it to build up gas, not be able to get released. So it's on, but it's loose. Thank you for coming along on this journey. This video is probably longer than it needs to be. So I'll be making a separate video when I go to actually attempt making sourdough for the first time. That should be fun. Definitely not a shit show. Yo, my neighbors be making some weird noises at like all hours of the day. So if you could just say a prayer, send a vibe for my sourdough. Hopefully he, she, they, whatever your name is, it makes it through and we can celebrate with some sourdough next week. I know in my last video, I was very like indecisive about what I was doing and where I was going with my social media. It's been a couple weeks since then. So I am trying to keep up with my Instagram. I did make a TikTok that I'm actually being more consistent with than my Instagram. Turns out like the interface of using TikTok to edit videos is so much better than Instagram. Who knew? No one told me. Follow me at Bake Shit Happen. I've been doing recipe testing. Bake with me is what I eat in a day's recipe reviews. So I'll definitely be posting some more bread and other baking content on there. All right, thank you so much for watching and we will catch you next time.